Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Together We Grow podcast. My name is Paul Main,
And my name is Tamer.
and we welcome you along today. This is the podcast where we teach people, primarily who run home fragrance businesses, how to start, grow, and scale it. It's all based on our experience of doing the exact same thing over 6 years, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah, we started a home fragrance business. We launched 3 brands in total, grew it to £7.5 million in sales, and then we sold it. And now we're here to teach you how to do exactly the same thing. So we share all of our knowledge on these podcasts and via our new website, which is the homefragrance.academy. And if you go there, you can see our membership, you can see our courses, you can see everything that we do. Come and follow us as well on Instagram and all that good stuff. We'd love to have you there and chat and see how we can help you grow your business. Isn't that right?
It certainly is. That's a proper passion of ours, isn't it? Helping other businesses to grow and succeed and just to see the changes that they implement.
Yeah, we love doing that, don't we? And we're going to continue doing that as long as we can. Okay, so this episode was asked of us by one of our members. Do you remember their name? Did you?
It was Jack. It was Jack who follows us on Instagram.
Perfect. And he asked us to record an episode which was basically about what we would do if we started again. So if we weren't in business at all, what would we do?
So, because at the moment he said that he hasn't launched yet, so there's lots of different things that he's sure that he'd be able to pick up from a podcast like this with our knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to get into that right now, and hopefully you can pick up some good stuff because there's going to be lots of value that we talk about and lots of good things that we did.
Nuggets in there.
So shall we get on with it?
Let's do it. Okay, so this episode is all about if we started again. So of course we've picked up loads of different things, loads of different knowledge and tips along the way that we share. But if we were to start completely from scratch, what were the changes that we'd implement this time round?
Well, I think there'd be quite a lot, wouldn't there?
There would, yeah.
Because obviously you'll bear in mind, back when we started, yes, I'd already started a business before. I knew marketing, I did all that kind of stuff. But getting into this space, getting into a direct-to-consumer business was brand new to me. And of course was to you as well. So I think we learned a lot along the way, haven't we?
We did, yeah.
But we've got some notes, and these are things that I think, well, these are certainly things that we teach people anyway inside Home Fragrance Academy. And I guess we'll run through them, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Start right from the beginning.
So I think the first thing we need to do is actually talk about what your goal is for your business. I don't think people think about this enough, this kind of thing, these first 2 points. So the first one is like, what actually is your goal from the business? So I can see that there's 3 particular goals. Firstly, you're starting a home fragrance business because you love the process of making the products. You love home fragrance products. You really enjoy being crafty and you enjoy the process of making them. And you want to sort of supplement your income or earn a few pounds at market fairs and things like that at the weekends. So I think that's one option that people potentially could choose. Another one is you just want to replace your salary. This, I think, is the most common one where people, they're fed up doing what they're doing, whatever. They know that they know that the home fragrance market is good, is strong, and loads of people like these types of products. So they want to get involved and they want to start building a business which simply just supplements their income or replaces, their income. So they can quit their job and do this full time. I think that's fair, isn't it?
I think that's fair. That's essentially exactly where I was at the beginning, wasn't it? I literally just wanted to replace my income so I could work from home and almost have like that control over the hours that we had and the hours that I worked so that I was in control of it.
Exactly. And a lot of people want to do that because they want to work around their family and other commitments and things. So I think that's the second option. And the third option is they want to build something where they can see the end in mind. They want to scale it and they want to sell it. Not many, I don't think, from what we've seen anyway, and we talk to quite a lot of home fragrance business owners, this is quite rare. Not too many people actually have that in mind. It's mainly just to replace their salary. And then if things grow from there, then so be it. But yeah, they want to scale something up, hire people, have it so it runs without them in it, basically, and then ultimately sell it. So I think those are the three main areas, or the three main goals that people would potentially choose from. And I think most people don't really think about that too much.
No, they kind of just sort of get stuck in.
Get stuck in, exactly.
Yeah, but I think sometimes it's also important to note that your goals can change as well.
Yeah, ours did.
Ours definitely did. They went from the second option, just replacing my income, to wanting to scale and grow and
Exactly.
sell.
Exactly. That's right. And I think it's important to get this right because then it changes your mindset on how you're going to run your business. If you just want to replace your salary, then once you get to a position where you're replacing your salary, you're going to be content, you're going to be happy, etc.
And that's a wonderful place to be.
Oh, of course it is. But when you want to scale and sell, that's really quite difficult to ever be satisfied because when we say scale, you're constantly scaling. So then when you get to a point where actually you're paying 16 people's salaries every month, you're earning money yourself, you're building profit into the business, you're still in scale mode.
Yeah.
So you're never really satisfied. So that's quite hard. And that's a really hard place to be, I think, in business as well, where you're never really satisfied with where you are because you always want to grow and grow. So be careful with that option. That's where I was over the past probably 4 years, 5 years.
It's sometimes hard because you don't know where you want to stop, because if you feel sometimes, or I think you feel, if you stop, it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
That if you sort of like stagnate where you are,
Yeah.
you feel like you have to scale.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Okay, so that's the first point, is setting that business goal. What is your goal for this new business you want to start? That's what we would do anyway, isn't it? Properly. And the secondly is actually define what your monetary targets are. So let's go down option 2. If you wanted to replace your salary, what you need to do is work out how much it is you want to earn per month.
Yep.
And then from that, you then need to work out how much you need to earn in the business as a whole to be able to pay that salary. And I did some rough calculations because I did some training on this a few months ago. And let's say you wanted to earn £3,000 per month, which in the UK is a good salary, isn't it? It's a good salary, £3,000 per month. You wanted to take that home. I worked out that you need to be turning over just under £16,000 a month in order to be able to do that. Because then from that £16,000 in your business, you'll be VAT registered at this point. You'll take off VAT. You'll take off your product cost, which will be about 30%. You'll take off your Facebook ad costs because you'll need a good chunk of Facebook ads, which I put down as 30% because to scale to that point. And then you've got all your miscellaneous costs, your overheads, all various different things like that. And all the taxes, the tax on tax. Oh my God.
Don't get started.
All those taxes. They're all things that you need to account for. So if you want to earn yourself on your own £3,000 a month, your business needs to do roughly £16,000 a month to be able to do that, which is about just over £500, about £520 per day in sales, which is perfectly doable just for yourself.
Yep.
Just as yourself. You were doing that.
Yeah, I was doing that.
Before we started, when I joined the company, I think it just ticked over to 18,000 a month.
Yeah.
But then it rapidly went up to 30 within the next month or two, didn't it?
I had my full-time marketing man.
Yeah. But that's when things were starting to take off.
Yeah.
But, you did that. And you did that whilst working at home as well, didn't you?
Yep, I did it working from home. Yeah.
It's perfectly doable.
It's another one of those things where you need to work out your plan for the day. You need to think about all the hours you've got and how you can best use your time.
Yeah, that will, exactly. You'll be busy, of course you will, but have your systems, process and things in place. And if you follow this kind of plan that we're now talking through, which is all going to be all about simplicity, it's perfectly, absolutely will you be able to do this. And as you've seen, you'll earn a very good salary from it. If your goal is to scale and sell, then you don't want to be earning that amount. You want to be reinvesting that into more marketing, expanding product ranges, things like that. You actually start to scale the business. But we're going to focus on replacing the salary.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's how you define your monetary targets. You have to do that. That's the important thing to go through. Otherwise, you're just flying blind. You need to know how much you want to earn per month in the business to be able to pay you the salary that you want.
Yeah, if you're going to replace your income, you need to know the bare minimum, don't you?
Yeah, it gives you something to aim for. It's going to be tricky, of course it is. It requires marketing budget, but what you'll have to do for the first few months is don't take any salary. Work your full-time employment, your full-time job whilst you're building this up. Reinvest all of your money that you get from this business into marketing and scaling.
Which is exactly how we did it.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so then next up, what I'd do is then I'd start to define, we'd define our target market, wouldn't we?
Yeah, and when you say target market, what do you exactly mean? Because I've encountered a lot of people that in my networking things that don't understand necessarily what their target market is or how to find it.
Okay, so a target market is a group, is a pool of people that you target your products to. Now, most people, in fact, probably 90% of the people that start in this industry, they will make wax melts. Let's just take that as an example. They will make them in the chocolate bar molds and either leave them in plastic clamshells or put them in little bags, glassine bags with a touch of colour and a sprinkle of glitter in, and they'll use the same fragrances that everybody else uses from the same suppliers as everybody else, and there'll be no strategy on who they're targeting. They will just launch black cherry wax melt, baby powder wax melts, all of these different fragrances to everybody. Anyone, there's no clear definition. What they will say is, yeah, I'm targeting 25 to 35-year-old women with additional income, disposable income, that kind of thing. That's not a target market. Okay, that's not a niche. Okay, the problem here is if you do that, you're competing against everybody else, which means that the market, which is the customers that you're targeting, because there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of companies all selling the exact same products, they can then just buy it based on the price.
Yeah, you're competing on the price.
These companies that are starting and launching these, they don't really have a brand. They have a nice logo and stuff, but there's not really a defined brand, nothing like that. There's no clear messaging. There's no target audience. Now, what you need to do is actually niche down and find that group of people that your products are going to be highly relevant to. So, as an example, this is something that we are quite passionate about at the moment, which is traveling. It's something we've never really done before, but it's traveling. So you could, if you're passionate about that, think about all the different things you're passionate about. But let's say it's traveling. You could create a range of fragrances which are all based on different destinations. Yeah. So take Rome, for example. You can create a fragrance range focusing on Rome, and it could be branded beautifully to look like the Colosseum and all of that kind of stuff. Fragrances you can pick from over there as well, or something that's reminiscent of it. And the names you give those fragrances would be reminiscent of it. And you'd create an Italian range of fragrances. Because now what you can do with Facebook ads and with your targeting on Instagram and the audience that you build, you'll target people that love traveling, but also love Italy. So then if you live in the UK and you're Italian, and then you get a thing on your feed which is, look at our Italian range of home fragrances, straight away you're interested. You're not just getting an advert which is, oh, you buy two get one free on this and that, and we've got a sale today, 30% discount. Oh, wax melts on these snap bars. It's something which is highly relevant to you. That always works if you niche down, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It gives the customer a reason to pause in their news feed. It makes them think, oh, hang on, let's just have a look at this, and then they'll click through to your profile and they'll look at the things that you've got available and what your brand's all about.
Yeah.
It makes them stop.
Exactly. And there's you can think about all different things to do with a niche audience. I mean, the ones I use as examples are traveling and
Book lovers.
Book lovers, creating candles for book lovers. Just think about the range you could do there.
Yeah, think about how many millions of books there are.
Collections based on different book trilogies or book collections or whatever it is, based on authors. And when people are reading, it's like relaxation mode. So you can have a nice candle in the background whilst they're reading their favourite book. That people will collect those as well, just like they do the Harry Potter books and all that kind of stuff. And I know that works. There's a company in the USA called Frostbeard Studios,
Yep.
and they do that. They create candles which are targeting book lovers in and around, I think it's Oregon or somewhere like that, in the USA. Have a look at them, see what they're doing. That's what I'm talking about with regards to finding that target market.
Yeah, but first off, like you said earlier, think about something that you're passionate about. Because if it's something that you really enjoy and you're passionate about it, it will come across in your marketing, and it will also be easier to stick with as well, won't it, if you love it?
Yeah, and we have first-hand experience of this working. So Cozy Aromas, which is the main business that we built, that did not have a niche target market at the beginning.
Nope.
But that was okay for us because there wasn't a huge amount of competition. So it was easier for us to scale and do that. However, over the past couple of years, we wanted to launch another brand.
Yep.
We knew that we needed to target a niche, so we launched WaxKind, which is eco-friendly wax melts. And we were targeting higher, but people with high. We were targeting people that were very much interested in the world, the earth, looking after the planet, saving trees, eco-friendly. That kind of person.
Yeah, and they were more conscious of everything that they put into the world, and so we had to like be careful with our marketing and the way we worded things, and the products that we produced were the best that we could do. They were eco-friendly and they looked beautiful as well, didn't they?
Exactly, yeah. So we did that. We defined that audience, which were people that were really passionate about being eco-friendly, women as well, because that typically is the target market for these types of products. We defined the age. I think it was 35 to 55, something
I'm
like
pretty
that.
sure it was there because they were the sort of age group that would typically in our research have a bit more disposable income.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then their interests were things like
So you've got certain shops that
just help me out here. What were
you've
they
got certain shops like the places that we had pop-up shops at, like Neptune's. They like
Yes, that's it.
the really nice high-end,
Yeah.
all the sort of wicker basket kind of things.
Exactly. So we could target people that were eco-friendly, but also liked the higher end things.
Yeah.
So Neptune's is a sort of a very fancy shop, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then you've got things like, I guess John Lewis, that kind of
Yeah.
that kind of end, because then that they have a taste of the more luxurious side of things,
Yep.
so they don't mind spending a bit more for their products, especially if they're eco-friendly. That's how we created that particular audience, and it worked.
It worked very well.
That was the brand that we created for wholesale.
Yep.
And yeah, that scaled up quite quickly. I think it was 100 stockists in the first 60 days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The first 2 months,
And
which is incredible, really.
That is incredible, especially seeing as our experience with wholesale before was obviously through Cozy Aromas, and we didn't really take off nowhere near in comparison to WaxKind because we'd defined our market, we had our niche, we had our packaging worked out properly as well, didn't we?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's all retail friendly.
That's right. So that's creating the target market, which is so these first three things here are all about actually planning.
Yep.
People don't do that much anymore, and you need to, because straight away we've now worked out that we want to build a business just to replace our salary. So we know that. We know the monetary targets because we've worked all of those out, and we now know what niche audience we're going to be targeting. Most people now jump into step 4, which is actually creating the product. And if we're going to do this ever again, then we would focus on simplicity. On everything we've learned, we'd focus on being completely simple on everything we do, which is the strategy that we chose when we built WaxKind. It's incredibly simple, isn't it?
It is. So it looks very pretty. The products were easy to make. And when I say easy to make, obviously, if you've ever tried making wax melts, you'll know that making wax melts, once you've got your recipe, is easy. But we looked at making sure it was scalable.
Yeah.
So we didn't do loads of little glitter and things that would take ages painting or anything like that. It was white wax all the way through. It was pour it into the moulds, pop it into the box.
That's it.
Very quick, very simple.
That's it. And if we started again, now this does require a little bit more research and a bit of investment, but I highly recommend you do it, is try and make the things unique.
Yeah.
So we went to a plastic manufacturer in the UK who created a mold, a plastic mold for our snap bars. Wax Kinder is a snap bar basically,
Yeah.
but it's not one of these ones a silicone mold you find off eBay or somewhere like that. It was one we had made for ourselves. It was 5 segments, and each one had Kind. Each segment had Wax Kind written on it.
Yep, it had
Our
the logo.
The reason why we did that is because we knew from Cozy Aromas that people like to snap it off, put it in their warmer, and take a photo of it. So as it's melting, if it's got the little Wax Kind logo on there, straight away people seeing that will see the brand. So that's what we did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we had little custom boxes made for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And these boxes had a little hole in the front where people could sniff the product in the shops. It was compostable boxes.
Yep.
And they were completely printed with the logo, a barcode, the fragrance name, fragrance description, CLP information, all of that, didn't it?
It certainly did. And what I also liked about it is because we see them in shops still now, don't we? When they're all lined up on the shelves, all the designs that we had made, they're all sort of all the same, aren't they? They're all cohesive and they just look all pretty, don't they, lined up on the shelf?
Yeah, they do. They do, yeah. So basically what we have now, you think about, we go back to simplicity, is you pour the wax into the mold, it sets, you pop it out, and you put it inside a box. Job done.
Done.
You'd put a batch code on there somewhere. We'd use like a little pricing gun.
Pricing gun, yeah.
You get in shops, that kind of thing. And that's the product. But it's completely unique. That is a bespoke product that only you have. And I think that's really important these days, because in this industry, you need to build a brand. You can't just sell the same wax melts everybody else does. You need to build a brand. So you need to be somewhat unique.
Especially if you're doing something along the lines of a Wax Kind where you've got your defined niche and everything, which obviously you should have, you'll be able to, because you're targeting a smaller audience, you'll be able to not compete on price and charge what you actually want to charge as well, and what you need to charge.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's the last thing you want to do is compete on price. And if you're targeting a specific group of customers in a niche, then you don't really need to. Not as much. And again, start very simple. We would create wax melts again, and we'll probably launch with only 20 fragrances.
Yep.
Those 20 fragrances we'd put a lot of time and effort into, make sure it hits our target market, our niche audience properly. We would make sure they have the best scent throw possible. So the products themselves are genuinely very, very good. They have to be, of course they do, because that will be your reputation. And we would give them unique, beautiful names. So either unique names representative of, let's say we're going down the traveling route, each destination, or it could be a range, a collection of products named on a destination, but actually the individual fragrances are the scent notes within it. That's always quite good as well. That's what we do, isn't it? Really simple, really, really simple. And I think people overcomplicate it these days. They want to create 40 fragrances in 7 different products, and all these whip soaps and all of these. What did we see the other day? Like toilet fizz and all that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Start small and then scale from there. Exactly. Only when you know that you can manage it and when your customers genuinely really do want it.
Because the more products you have, it doesn't mean you're going to make more money or anything.
No.
Customers don't want so much choice. They want to buy into a brand. That's the most important thing. Once they like your brand story, what you stand for, who you're targeting, they know that you're relevant to them. They will buy the products you have. That's
something that we learned the hard way with Cozy Aromas, was we launched way too many fragrances over the years, didn't we? Yep. In the end, we had about 120 in our core range.
More than that, it's about 160.
Oh yeah, well, before we started discontinuing, about 160 in our full core range, and then we'd have our seasonal collections on top of that. So as you can imagine, even though we had a team, that's still a lot of fragrances and a lot of money invested in products.
That's the thing you got to think about, is how much this costs you, because these are all going to be fragrances that you have to stock and you have to keep buying. Wouldn't it be lovely just to buy boxes of wax and then 20 fragrance oils and that's it?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it?
It would.
And then replenishing every 6 months, you're replenishing the cardboard boxes that your wax melts are stored in, or whatever packaging you decide to use. It's just, keep it simple. You see all of these companies and all these people starting up, and they've got all these plastic pots with all these labels and stuff on them. Just try and be simple. That will make your life so much easier. And this is how you'll hit your financial targets quicker. So there you go. That's what we do with regards to the product.
Yeah.
Simple, simple, simple. But it's all about the brand.
Yeah.
And the brand is more than just your logo. It's what you stand for, it's your messaging, and it's your story as well. That's really important to get across on your website, on socials, is your story, why you're creating it, why it's important to you, which you can do if you're targeting a niche audience, because typically that would be something you're typically interested in anyway.
Yeah, and that your customers that you are targeting are obviously interested in it as well, so they can see that connection. They can feel connected to you and your brand a lot quicker than if it was just no sort of messaging and very boring, really.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Okay, so then we move on to the website. That's the next thing I build.
That's definitely your side of the.
Yeah, or start building. 5 and 6 go together. But number 5 is the website. You need to build this in the background, and this would be so simple. It would be Shopify, of course. It'd be one of the Shopify free themes, and I wouldn't even customize it too much because Shopify know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, and you want to make sure you've got some beautiful imagery on there, which is relevant to your target audience, but also relevant to your brand and the products that you're selling. Make sure you've got your story on there. The About Us page, have it on there. Have photos of you as the maker on there. Have photos of your setup. All of this kind of stuff. That's really important.
Be very personal with it.
Yeah, that's it. Very, very personal. And make it super simple for people to find stuff. If you've only got 20 fragrances and you only sell wax melts, you have one button which says shop. They click on that. There are all of your different fragrances. They click on one, then they add it to the cart. Simple as that.
Yep.
And on the product page itself, you want to have 2 images, minimum 2 images. One of them is the product on its own with a white background like you do on Amazon. Amazon do it for a reason. Like they have on Amazon, it's just a cutout white photo. It always is. Have that. And then a secondary image, which is more lifestyle based. So it'll be that product in a house setting, sat next to a warmer with a little bit broken off in the warmer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So people can get a feel for what it looks like aesthetically. And then everything you do needs to be for mobile friendly. Okay, so don't even worry about what it looks like on desktop to begin with. Mobile is the most important. You want to have the add to cart button before people have to start scrolling down. And that add to cart button needs to be green.
Why green though?
It's an action color, isn't it? On traffic lights, it's go. It's an action color.
A question I get asked often is, but it doesn't fit into my branding.
Good. That's a good thing because then it doesn't blend in with the rest of your website. That's the most important button on your site. At Cozy, we had a beautiful black and white website and our products were the colourful things. But on the actual page itself, the only real bit of colour we had was a massive green add to cart button. And it wasn't a gentle green, it was a bright green. Okay, because that's what you want them to press. So what if it doesn't match the rest of your site? Would you rather people go, oh, that looks horrible, or actually buy from you?
That's true.
So that's what you need to do. And then on that page as well, on that product page, you need to tell people when they're going to receive the order, because that's very important, how much it's going to cost, and if they're to receive the order, and if there's a free shipping threshold, and you need to have product reviews. If you haven't got product reviews, go ask your friends and family. Give your product out to people and say, come and test them. Give me a review. You need to launch with some reviews on your site. Simple as that.
There was one more thing you mentioned as well the other day, was that on the near the add to cart, you need to show people how they can pay as well.
Oh yes.
There's nothing worse than getting all the way through to the checkout and realising, oh, I can't pay my favourite way.
Exactly. If you take Shopify Pay, which a lot of sites do now, have that as a button on there, but also have like the little card symbols, the cards you accept, because that will just save time. There you go. Simple website. Don't mess around with it. Don't have too many apps. Don't try and be fancy. Keep it dead simple. Focus on your brand, your story, beautiful imagery, and obviously very good product descriptions and things like that. And whilst you're doing that, that's point 5, you also need to do point 6, which is your pre-launch.
Now, the pre-launch campaign is almost make or break really for your brand launch, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's something that the amount of people I speak to in a week, obviously, is quite a lot of people. And the amount of people I ask, how did their pre-launch go? And they're like, what's a pre-launch?
Yeah. Yeah, most people just they make build their website, load it with the products and all this kind of stuff, have shelves full of wax melts, and
And click
launch.
go.
Yeah, and that's problem there is it's just so disheartening because nobody's going to buy from you. You'll get one or two sales maybe from people that you know, but nobody's going to buy from you because they don't know about you.
No.
And if they do know about you, they probably don't care enough. You need to have a really good pre-launch phase. So typically have it 6 weeks. So when you're ready to, when you know that this is what you're going to do, 6 weeks, that's when you want to start. That's when you want to be doing your pre-launch. And during that time, you build a simple landing page. So go to MailChimp, create yourself an account on MailChimp. That's where you can collect email addresses and send email campaigns. You can build a landing page on there. So build one, which is that's the place where people go when they click on your link in Instagram and on Facebook and things like that. This is your landing page. That's where you're going to collect email addresses. And on that landing page, you need to have your no-brainer offer. So we always recommend, we talk about this a lot as well, is when you are going to launch, you have a no-brainer offer just for launch day. You don't want to have this continuing. And that needs to be something which is so good that your target audience feels silly not taking you up on it. So for WaxKind, we had a box of 4 of our wax melts for £1.
Yep.
And we had 500 of them available. So that's a lot. I know that. I understand that's a lot. Not everyone can do that. But that and we sold all those within the first couple of hours.
Yeah.
So that what that meant is straight away, we've only just launched the business, and within a few days, 500 people are going to try our products. And then based on our email sequence, they're going to review the products as well. And literally within 10 days of us launching that business, we had well over 100 reviews and we had repeat customers, and the business was on its way. That's kind of what you want to do.
And we had photos that people had tagged us in as well,
Exactly.
user-generated content as well. So we hit the ground running with all of that.
Yep, we put them all, we sent them all to Google to leave us a Google review. They left photos. They tagged us on Instagram because that was a competition we ran as well.
Yeah.
And that just gets your social proof up and running, gets your reviews going, and then you are ready to go. So to do that, you have your landing page with your no-brainer offer. So it could be buy one, get 2 free. I would recommend try to get your spend up to, for launch anyway, try to get it £15 to £20 if you can.
Yep.
So it could be, let's say you charge £5 for a wax melt. It could be 8 for £20. So buy 4, get 4 free. That's really good.
That's a great deal for a customer.
That's a very good deal. That's a no-brainer deal.
Yeah.
So if your target audience sees your advert or your post, and first straight away they say, "Oh yeah, I'm interested in that. I love Italy. I like home fragrance. Everyone does. Buy 4, get 4 free." That's a no. I mean, I'm going to put my email address on. So then, and then for people to get that deal, you tell them enter your email address below, and it's only available on launch day. We're launching on this date. Be ready, basically.
Yeah.
And then you'll have beautiful images on that page. You'll have your story, have photos of you on there. That is your no-brainer offer. That's your landing page. Now your job is to get as many relevant people to that landing page as you can.
Yeah.
That's when you go over to Instagram and Facebook, particularly Instagram, and then you start building that audience.
Yep.
You're posting every day of content from behind the scenes, content about the destinations. You're going to destination guide Instagram profiles that are relevant to your audience. You're following them. You're engaging with their audience. That's what you do. You get your name out there that way. That's how you're going to build the audience in a manual way without costing you a fortune.
Yeah, that's the organic way of doing it, isn't it? And it does take you a long time, but that's a real genuine connection you're making with people as well. And they're then really interested in your story and your brand.
But during this pre-launch phase, you shouldn't be doing anything else.
No.
Because you've ready to find your product, etc. You know what you're doing. That's all great. Now it's pre-launch. So now it's about getting that audience. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have this audience, you don't have a business that you're going to launch.
No. Typically, I find a lot of people will say, okay, I'm going to launch here. I've done my landing page, for instance, and I'm not now focusing on spending my time on social media and building my audience. Instead, I'm at home making products.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of people fall down, that they'll then spend all week long making
Stocking up the
products,
shelves. Yeah.
stocking up shelves, but they haven't got anybody to sell it to.
Exactly.
So instead, if you spent just one day making products that week, and because you still need to make some products, obviously, because you need to have stock on your shelves for when you launch, but also you need to record yourself doing it, and you need some of this behind the scenes content. So if you had one day a week where you make your products and record it, and then the rest of the week you're focusing on engaging and creating your audience and building it that way, then you've got the best of both worlds.
So when you say recording it,
So
explain that.
set up time lapses on your phone. So most phones like iPhones and Samsungs and everything, they all have that option available in the camera. Set up a time lapse of yourself doing it, of all the process. So it could be you're making candles, laying out your candles, putting your wicks in, pouring the wax, the whole process all the way through. And then you can use CapCut on your laptop and just piece together the individual bits of the video, make it quicker, and then do a voiceover and post it on your Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. They don't always have to be that in depth either. It can just almost be like a little vlog style, just saying what you've been up to that day. But then you want to have photos of what you're doing, so photos of your products, and stories about the niche, the target audience. So basically, when you're commenting and building this audience, when those potential customers land on your profile, they need to know that you're relevant to them for starters.
Yeah.
So that needs to come across in your messaging, and they need to be interested in what the products are, and they need to be interested. Your post needs to be interesting to them.
Yeah.
And you might not think it's interesting posting photos of you working or you pouring wax melts, but actually that is interesting to people.
It's very interesting because they love to see what actually goes into the products that they're spending their money on. And they don't want to just say, oh, this is a product that smells like this, and that's just a picture of it.
Yeah.
That's boring. They know what they look like already.
Exactly.
They just need to know more about you.
And then another option as well, which is the option we chose, is using Meta ads, so Facebook and Instagram ads, where you can highlight your key offer, say when you're launching, and then direct. You'll be hyper targeted who you want to see these ads, and then get visitors to your website that way. We found that probably with this no-brainer offer, whatever your audience size is in terms of email addresses, 5 to 10% at least. Let's say 10% of that audience will buy from you. So if you've got on launch day, they'll take you up on that offer. So if you've got 1,000 email addresses, you'll probably get 100 orders.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can work that out. And then whilst that's being done as well, we then move on to number 7, which is retention. Because in this industry, retention rates are high. Cozy Aromas had a 60% retention rate, which means out of all of the customers we got, 60% of them would come back and buy again.
But why is retention important in this industry, though?
Because that's where the profit's going to be. Because you're selling low ticket items. We're selling products for £5. Average order value for us was £23. You're not going to make much margin on that, especially if to get that first customer in, you're giving them a no-brainer offer, and you've also paid Facebook ads to get that customer in the first place. There's no margin there, so you want them to come back and place another order because that's where you start making profit. Okay, and that's the key thing. People don't realize that the customers you have, you need to get them to come back and buy again and again and again. So what I'd do is I'd set up a very basic retention campaign, and that's emails through MailChimp, and they're called sequences, I believe, in MailChimp. And that's just a series of automated emails that are sent at a specific time. So you can set one up which says, once someone has placed an order, send them this email straight away. And I would have that as a personalized one saying, thank you, here's a picture of you, this means so much, blah, 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 a nice story to really thank them. A week later, send them another email. 3 days later, send them another email saying, your order will be with you very soon. We hope you enjoy it. Any questions? This is how you contact us, etc., etc. Click here if you'd love to join our Facebook group. Then a few days after that, send another one, which is, I hope you've enjoyed your order. Please leave us a review. And with a big button to go to Google reviews or Trustpilot or wherever you use. And then after that, every sort of 4 or 5 days, you want to be sending them an email, which is encouraging them to come back. So it's, what did you think of that last order? Would you like to come back and place another one? And then highlight different fragrances all the time. you can set up a sequence which is 5, 10, 15 emails long over the course of 5, 10, 15 weeks,
Yeah.
and they just automatically go into it. And then once they're placed in order, they then come out of that sequence. And then you can be much more advanced and then create repeat order sequences and things like that. But that's kind of what you want to do. Your goal after they place that order on pre-launch is firstly to get them to leave a review, and also to get them to join your Facebook group.
Yep.
Because when they join your Facebook group, that's when you can nurture them. That's when you can start getting more orders from them. This is all really important stuff.
It is when you're joining the Facebook group, and the reason we say that is because you build that real personal connection with them, and then you get a group of all your top customers together, and essentially they almost end up selling products to each other.
They do. Yeah, it's so valuable.
It really is.
We've got loads of training all about Facebook groups, and we can talk about
Yeah.
that. In fact, I think we have done a podcast on that already.
We probably have.
It's
It's an invaluable tool.
It's so good. You have to have a really engaged Facebook group. And that's number 7, that's retention. And then after that, we then go on to ongoing marketing. So this is continuing with your social media posts on Instagram, Facebook. You might want to start TikTok. But I wouldn't put too much effort into that. All the other different social platforms if you wanted to, but I would certainly just focus on Instagram and Facebook for now.
Yeah.
Depending on your audience and where they are, of course.
Yeah.
Keep doing your email marketing. Keep tweaking your retention. Looking at the stats to see what's working, what's not working. Invest into some Facebook ads. Certainly for retargeting, which is when people come to your website but don't buy. You're then sending them adverts to encourage them to come back.
Yeah.
And those kind of ongoing marketing as well. That's so important. Obviously, this is a huge subject on its own.
Yeah.
We talk about this. We offer loads of training on ongoing marketing. But all of those things that you need to do to keep getting your name out there and encouraging those people that have placed orders to come back. And then you want to sort of, and as part of this online marketing, it's all about starting to scale up if you wanted to, but certainly scaling up to achieve your goal of it replacing your salary. So you need to work out what that is, as I've said in point 2, and work hard to start achieving that.
So essentially, these are the steps that, if we did start again, that this is the steps that we would follow, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they're the steps that, to a certain degree, we did follow, but also there's more things in there that we didn't do that we've learned over the years that are very important to be able to start and hit your goals.
That's it. These are things that we did follow. This is the process we followed for WaxKind.
Yeah.
And look how well that worked.
That did fantastic really quickly as well.
Really quickly. It did fantastic.
I think it's important to note that some people might think that because we'd already launched in the home fragrance space and we had Cozy Aromas, that we went off the back of that, but we didn't.
Well, no, we did. And what I mean by that is our knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what we're now teaching other people.
Yeah.
This is the knowledge.
What I mean is people might say, oh, well, you just told all your customers to go and buy them.
Yeah, well, that's not true, though, because we didn't want to mix the audience up.
No, which is what I'm trying to make sure that, we learned all of this and we implemented it with WaxKind, and we started WaxKind from nothing.
Yeah.
No audience, completely zero.
WaxKind is predominantly, or certainly was predominantly, wholesale.
Yeah.
But we did actually launch direct to consumer, but we did it with our own Facebook ads in the WaxKind account, building its own audience. It's got a small audience now, but we went down a completely different aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it worked very well for us. So the only real thing that we had really was the budget, I guess. Not a huge amount. We didn't spend a lot on this.
No.
A lot less than what you probably think, actually, if you're listening to this, on creating the product and the packaging. Do some research into that, because don't just dismiss it straight away. You might find it's a lot more affordable than you think. Yes, we had that little bit of budget there to do it, but it was just our experience and what we'd learned. But that's the whole point of why we launched Home Fragrance Academy, isn't it? Is to share our experience, and that's exactly what this is.
So we can help other people to do this as well.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we'd follow. If we did this again, that's what we do. In fact, I would do exactly that, and I'd probably do it in the travelling.
You definitely would do it
as well,
in
because
travelling.
I just love that. It gives you an excuse to go to different countries to launch new collections, doesn't it? So, there we are. That's what we do.
That is our complete step-by-step guide from day one planning all the way through to launch.
Yeah, exactly. We've got courses which teach you all about this as well.
Yeah.
Come and become a member of the Home Fragrance Academy, because then you'll we'll you'll have access to all these courses. You have access to all of the training. Plus, you'll have access to us as well. We do one-to-one email support on any questions, any issues you have. All part of your membership. It's pretty good, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Head over to homefragrance.academy to look at that.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and join the Facebook community group. Just search Home Fragrance Academy Community.
Yeah, and wherever you're listening to this podcast, please leave us a little review as well. We need some more reviews.
Let us know what you think of the episode and what you'd like to see in future episodes as well, because we create these to make it better for you and to give you tips and advice. So whatever you need some help with, just let us know.
Yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks very much for making it this far. Give it a little like, subscribe, and put a comment down below as well, and ask any questions. I'd love to chat to you there as well. I think that's it, really, isn't it?
I think we've covered everything, and thank you very much, Jack, for the suggestion for this week's podcast.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll speak to you next time.
Speak to you soon, guys.
Bye.